Just in, Leonor's official wedding guest list _ presidents, kings and more. They always say a royal wedding is perfect. But Leonor's guest list, shockingly different. Not just royalty and presidents, some names nobody saw coming. We begin with what we do know, then peel back the layers. By the end, you'll understand why this guest list has stirred whispers in palaces, across capitals, between old friends, among bitter rivals. Part 1. Announcement and first reactions. From palace corridors to front-page headlines, the announcement came: Princess Leonor is to wed. The date, the gown, the chapel, all confirmed. And then the guest list was published. This is not just a list. It's a statement. Who is there? Who is not? The alliances, the snubs, family members, old friends, foreign heads of state. The first names: King Felipe VI, Queen Letizia, her parents. King Harold, Queen Sonia, distant cousins from Norway. President Emmanuel Macron pointing the way for France. President Joe Biden's envoy, as expected. But then, who's not on the list? And why that matters as much as who is. Questions struck immediately: will former allies be invited? The Queen Mothers, cousins who fell out of favor. What will the presence or absence of leaders signify on the stage of world diplomacy? Part 2. The royalty. Let's map the royal connections. Spain's monarchy bound up with centuries of intermarriage, alliances, shifting loyalties. Leonor grew up hearing about her grandmother's sister, about the cousins in Denmark, the cousins in Sweden. And now many of them are confirmed to attend. The King and Queen of Belgium, historically close, the Prince of Wales, representing England, the Grand Duke of Luxembourg, the King of Jordan, a signal of Spain's ties with the Middle East. These invitations are expected, but some are surprises. One surprise: the King of Morocco accepted. Given the sometimes tense relationship across the strait, that acceptance causes a ripple. Another surprise: the absence, for now, of the Russian president. No formal declination yet. Media speculating. Is it political? Or personal? And then the sub-loop. A rumor that a letter was sent, then retracted. Is that true? And if true, why the backtrack? We talk about protocol. Who arrives first, who sits where. How Leonor insisted on inviting monarchs she admires personally, not just for ceremonial respect. That personal touch shows. The guest list shows her priorities: loyalty, shared values, generational friendship. Part 3. Presidents, prime ministers, and diplomats. Then come the heads of state, presidents and prime ministers from Europe, the Americas, Africa, Asia. From Portugal, Italy, Germany, standard. From Argentina, Brazil, cultural kinship. From Cameroon, representing Spanish-speaking Africa. Perhaps a nod to former colonial relationships. Each name loaded. Diplomatic signals. Who is included, which guest is given full protocol, which given honorary mention only. Some big names. President Xi Jinping reportedly sent his congratulations but will not attend. Some say due to scheduling. Others say something more. And then there are surprise inclusions. A former president invited out of respect, even though out of power, a prime minister who once criticized the monarchy, now on the list. Did Leonor reach across divides? Is this a gesture of reconciliation? Part 4. Family and close friends. But protocol alone doesn't make the wedding. The heart comes through in family and friends. Leonor's sisters, if any, her cousins. The godparents, those who baptized her, guided her. Her childhood friends. The mentor who taught her Spanish literature. The tutor of her martial arts. Small, intimate circles woven into the grand formality. Attention emerges. 1. Cousin, deeply hurt by exclusion. Another family branch estranged over inheritance issues. Leonor reached out personally to reconcile before the invite went out. Some accepted. Some did not. There's heartbreak behind the gilded doors. We hear personal letters, whispered apologies, tears. And yet, in the list, those names remain. A nod to loyalty, to forgiveness. A braided thread of love and royalty. Part 5. The surprises and the absences. Now the curiosity ratchets up. Who was not invited? The names already trending in tabloids. A deposed prince living in exile, a controversial politician once familial, now political poison, famous celebrities once seen in royal circles, now absent. Each omission fuels speculation. One high-profile absence, the former king of a certain country known for lavish invitations to European weddings. No RSVP. No word. Was he never invited? Did he decline? Did Leonor decide, I cannot have someone whose public record conflicts with my ideals? Another, a longtime friend from her teenage years. The friend's family says, no invite. The palace declines comment. Rumor, they were on a draft list, then cut. Why? Space. Protocol. Or something more personal. Each mystery unanswered. And each answered only by another question. What is Leonor trying to show? What kind of queen is person? What alliances does she cherish, and which does she reject? Part 6. Public reaction and media shockwaves. Immediately, press across Spain, Europe, and beyond erupted. Social media lit up with praise. Others with criticism. Royal watchers dismayed at absences. Diplomats analyzing who sits next to whom. Cultural commentators seeing this as more than wedding, as policy. Some say the guest list is too big, inattentive to political complications. Others admire its boldness. One newspaper writes, Leonor dares to merge love, politics, kindness. Another editorial wonders whether some exclusions betray a turning away from old royal duties, or an embrace of new ones. We examine public opinion polls, inside Spain, outside. Among Republicans, monarchists. Among younger voters. How the guest list may affect Leonor's image, her future reign. Part 7. Protocol, seating, ceremony. Behind the scenes, where people sit matters. Who enters first? Who greets Leonor? The protocol of foreign heads of state versus royalty versus family. Stories of palace staff mapping hierarchies. Royal watchers guessing seating charts. Who Leonor asked to stand closest. Who she wants visible in photos. That one particular crown prince whose presence she insisted on, why? Also, ceremony choices. Will foreign guests participate in the liturgy? Will there be cultural or religious nods depending on guest origin? How decor and speeches reflect guests' identities. Part 8. Leonor's vision and symbolism. Throughout, what emerges as a vision, Leonor's understanding of her role. Her ideals, transparency, international friendship, respect, modernity with tradition. She seems to be shaping a monarchy less aloof, more human. She honors her ancestry but refuses the shadows of old scandals. She opens doors to reconciliation. She extends hands where before walls stood. Symbolism in invitations, sending invites to countries often marginalized. Not inviting those with questionable human rights records, or perhaps inviting them but limiting role. This part still under speculation. She is choosing not just who stands next to her, but what values she wants the monarchy to embody. Part 9. The Untold Moments. Every guest has a story. The president who once attended Leonor's coming-of-age speech. The king who taught Spanish to one of her tutors. The friend who snuck out with her on a rainy night in Madrid. We hear of letters, old photographs, private memories. Of a guest who taught her kindness. Another who challenged her as a little girl. And one absence, the teacher who couldn't be there. Leonor's note to her, personally handwritten, expressing regret. These moments, not in official releases, but glimpses of what the wedding really is, a human event wrapped in stars. Part 10. Looking ahead, legacy and aftermath. What will the story be after the wedding? How will this guest list be remembered? Perhaps as the moment Leonor redefined Spanish monarchy for the 21st century, inclusion, thoughtfulness, moral clarity. Or perhaps some will remember the absences more, those who weren't there, and what their absence said. There are implications, diplomatic relations warmed or cooled, public trust in monarchy affected, family relationships mended or not, offers of alliances or unexpected overtures from foreign leaders. In the weeks after, more confirmations, more regrets. Post-wedding portraits to be studied. Media analyses of who appears in which photo. Who shares a toast. The lines of relationships drawn by gestures and proximity. Conclusion. Leonor's guest list is more than names. It's a message. It's a mirror of who she wants to be, whose presence she honors, whose absence she mourns. There is love, power, tension, history, reconciliation. And through it all, a young woman stepping into her future, choosing not just a partner, but a people. By the time you see those photos, you will understand, this wedding isn't just about a union between two souls. It's about union between past and present, between nations, between hearts. Leonor's choices in that guest list speak louder than any speech she'll give. Because in attendance, she defines legacy. And in absence, she reveals courage.